I think there's things I lost that I'll never get back, but it's changed me as a person for the better. I'm in a better spot than I was before cancer. In the fall, we beat UConn, and I was pitching, and that was my first complete game after cancer. Like, I told myself, like, I want to be the greatest player to ever walk through this school. Honestly, I feel like I'm going to surprise everyone this year. My name is Katie. I'm a senior and I play softball for the University of Bridgeport. Last year in the fall, I was sick all the time, like just fevers and coughing all the time. Like, I was going to urgent care probably every month. They would test me for COVID, flu, strep, everything, and it was all negative. So they would just say I had a viral syndrome and sent me home. And then I would just have to wait until it went away. December, I went home and we went to my primary care. She sent me for an ultrasound. At the ultrasound, the tech couldn't find my ovary. We noticed because she was just being all weird, and then we went home and we were worried. And then my primary care sent me to the ER, and I went into emergency surgery where they removed a 15-centimeter tumor that had engulfed my ovary. About a week later, the doctor that removed it called and said that it was cancer. And then I started chemo in January, and I had chemo from January to April. Well, through chemo, I was lifting weights and everything, but like, I just watched myself gradually get weaker. But then after chemo was when like I started like really trying to get my strength back. I was lifting weights, I was trying to run and everything. And then around May was when I started pitching again with my pitching coach. Without him, I probably would not have pushed through it because I would try to pitch on my own and I would get angry after 5 minutes and just pack up and leave. If I was with him, like, I couldn't act like that, so like I just kept pushing through it. I came back early in August to work with Paul to keep getting my strength back. We had fall games and I was practicing and everything. I was trying to find my new normal, and then I had to go home in November because I wasn't really dealing well. So I went home and just basically like reassessed everything that went wrong. I'm in a better place now, so now I'm back.
When you went home, what did you reassess?
Like if I was doing too much, because I didn't want people like looking at me different. Like obviously my endurance isn't as good anymore, or like I have neuropathy in my hands, so like at lift, sometimes like I can't hold as heavy as I should be holding, things like that. But like I would try to like hide it, which isn't really good. I should have been more honest, like I can't do this, or like I need a day off. So like I just went home and I was still, like I tried to follow the same schedule I was doing here, like lift and practice and everything, figure out like when in the week I would get tired and everything. So like when I came back, I could say like, this isn't working. We have pitching at like 7 o'clock at night, and then we have lift at 6 a.m. the next day. And it's really hard for me to get up because my body hasn't recovered from pitching from the night before. Things like that, like I just had to figure out when I needed to prioritize resting or just taking mental breaks.
What was that mental shift like?
Well, it took a while. Started therapy, and my therapist was like giving me like exercises to do every week. Like we would just like discuss how things made me feel. She would like tell me if I felt this way, what I can do to help that, basically. Or like things I can tell myself. I had a very negative mindset, so like if I have a negative thought, like counteract it with a positive, like things like that. And I got a emotional support cat, so she's helped a lot too.
Before everything happened and went down, what was the biggest difference for you, either on the field, off the field, or both, in terms of, either your mindset or your life as a whole, before and after? What would you say one of your biggest lessons is that you've come out with on the other side?
Not let outside factors like control your life.
How did your coach back at home play a role?
So he's a cancer survivor too. So he understood like what I was feeling, because he has neuropathy in his hands and everything. It was easier for me to talk to him about like when things bother me. He helped me like adjust like how I held the ball or how I would step or things like that to make pitching a little easier. I started pitching in May, and I couldn't feel the ball at all when I was throwing. We were just trying to teach me to be more mindful of my body and how it was moving, because basically I was just relying on my mind telling me when to release the ball. And if we tried to throw other pitches, they weren't moving. I couldn't feel me spinning it. July, I think I got put on medicine for it, and then it started getting better. I still have some numbness, some tingling, but now my fingers are just sensitive to everything. So that honestly makes it better, because I'd rather it be sensitive, because I'm still feeling, rather than it being completely numb. I feel like I'm in a better spot than I was before cancer. I feel like I'm just playing differently. I feel like I have to prove myself again. I'm stronger than I was before cancer. That's also translated to pitching. I've had teammates give me feedback saying I'm throwing harder than I was before, the ball's spinning more. And I see it too when I'm throwing. I feel like I'm in a better spot, but I still feel like I have to prove myself again. I feel like because obviously I had something really bad happen. Obviously people are gonna look at me different. They're gonna be like, oh, that's the girl who had cancer or whatever. But I don't think they're gonna expect me to be where I was or better. They're gonna think it changed me a little. But honestly, I feel like I'm gonna surprise everyone this year.
Besides yourself and that coach back at home, who really helped you?
I think my family and my sister. They were there for it all. I can't say they understand how I feel, but they at least know what I went through. So, I always feel like I can talk to them. They try to be motivating for me, just to keep me going, basically. Because my mom was there for every appointment, so I obviously wouldn't have been able to do any of this without them. My sister came home every weekend from college to be with me. Going through chemo and all that, all the physical stuff, it didn't bother me. It was more emotionally, so I would tell someone to feel everything, because I suppressed everything and that wasn't good. I would tell someone just to feel every feeling.
Was there anything that was unexpected?
I think people not understanding, or not even trying to understand. That was probably the hardest part for me.
How has the softball team as a whole helped you throughout this?
They've been really positive. If I have to take a break in practice, obviously, I don't want to do that. They tell me, it's okay, take your time. Those little reminders, when I'm telling myself I have to, keep doing it, it's part of practice, and they see, I need a break, they come up to me and just remind me, you can go sit down. I think now I try to, not take it for granted. When I played before, I would worry about things that I didn't have to worry about in that moment. I try to be more in the moment and just play with all my heart, basically. Well, in the fall we beat UConn, which was huge because they're a big D1 school. And I was pitching, and that was my first complete game after cancer. I threw all 7 innings, and we won 1-0, and I had 14 strikeouts. I think the other thing was in May when I first started pitching, I was throwing 62, and in the fall they clocked me again and I was throwing 67. I got all my speed back, so I feel pretty accomplished about that. I think it was my freshman year. I told myself, I was I want to be the greatest player to ever walk through this school. But then COVID happened, and I had 2 years, and then this happened, so I was all right, I have high expectations for myself, so all these things keep happening, so it just makes it hard to do what I want to do. I think there's things I lost that I'll never get back, but this also, it's changed me as a person, but for the better.
What's the difference between your perspective and you think the average person's perspective on that?
Well, if I had said that before cancer, I probably would have thought the most basic things, being with my friends and just having fun, things like that. But now it's I feel I really take in everything I feel in those moments. When I am with my family, how it makes me feel. I feel hold on to things better now. And it's like the more important things that matter, not, oh, where am I going with my friends Friday night, like things like that.
Were there any moments specifically that you can think of where it hit you hard?
Yeah, it was probably when I went home in November and just being back home and being like with the people that are always going to be there with me. Like, it's just like silly things. Like, every Friday I go grocery shopping with my dad, but like, I just enjoy it more. Like, it's just things like that. Even just little things like going to practice. If someone like complained, like, I'd be like, all right, I wished I could have done this. Don't make things negative. Just try to enjoy everything. Like, you never know when it's going to be the last moment.
You said that softball became a form of therapy for you. Can you elaborate on that?
It's almost like a mental break for me. I mean, it's something I've worked hard for my whole life. Yeah, there were times like I'd get mad or whatever, but it was always something that was there for me to do. Like, I could like avoid doing homework, or me and my sister were fighting, so like I could just go outside and throw or whatever. Like, I didn't have to deal with things that I had to do. I always had softball. Like, I always think I can be better. Obviously, like during chemo, I couldn't do much, but I would watch every single game, or I'd come to the games. So like that was almost like a distraction, reminding me like I can come back to this. Because I take a lot of pride in what I accomplished before cancer, but now I take that and I want to be better than that was. I hope to win the first CAC championship for this program.
But looking forward to the season.
Yeah, mainly season right now.